Welcome to Coffee and Crystals. Oh, crash. I've got my coffee and crystals today. So, I am bringing in New Earth light codes. So, activations to bring in your highest timeline. So, we've got this New Earth, Old Earth frequency contrast happening at the moment. So, some people would say it's the battle of light and dark, but basically it's you choosing to live in love or choosing to live in fear. So, the new earth, old earth split, some people would call it, third dimension to a fifth dimension reality. So it's just shifting into, you could say higher frequencies, but it's more expanded awareness. So it's more of an awareness that you are love, that you are the universe, you are it all. So it's kind of understanding that you don't need to be fighting against yourself. So when we talk about the new earth and old earth, it is a shift in consciousness. So it's a frequency. So it's not a place, it's a state of mind. So there's so many ways that are available to support you with your ascension journey. A lot of people are calling it an ascension journey. They believe, a lot of people believe that the Mayan calendar ended in 2012, but then a lot of people say that we've misread the Mayan calendar. So the Mayan calendar wasn't ending. It was just the end of a cycle, which means it's a new beginning, which means that the calendar got reset to zero again. So it was the opportunity for a whole new start. So we could continue on with the old earth, which was more fear, lack and stress and survival, or we could choose a new earth, which was more about stepping into who we truly are as expanded consciousness, as this greater awareness, who has so many skills and powers in a good way. We've actually been taught to be scared of power, but the power of unconditional love is huge. So when I say new earth is choosing love, I don't mean you have to be all like have a partner, get married, or be all lovey-dovey. It's not like that. It's more unconditional love. So it means that you just step into your true self, and you kind of start to lose the judgment of others and even yourself, and you start to really tune into your innate wisdom. So you could call it your higher self, or you could call it source energy, or you can also call it oversoul. Some people kind of would call the oversoul another level up from, like, so it's there's source up the top. So, source is the source of where everything stems from. And then there's kind of like your higher self, which can be source, but then you could drop it slightly down to have the more, or the experiences that you as a slightly more individual perspective is seen. And then you have like an oversoul, which has a huge amount of souls. So all parallel versions of itself. And then you kind of keep dipping down. You can be like a collective consciousness. And then you keep dipping down into denser energy to where we are, the earth game reality, where we have limited ourselves so much that we've thought that we are separated. We thought that we were by ourselves, we're alone, and that we're not all that is. So we've created this full polarity landscape of light, dark, good, bad, positive, negative. So as you take yourself down from source, so that source frequency is all that is. It is complete oneness. So that you take yourself down, and then as you take yourself down more and more, the extremities of the positive and the negative start to really create dualistic realities. So we are living in such polarity. So when living in polarity, it can be a challenge, but you've got to remember that you have the choice. So every positive has a negative. You can choose the negative or you can choose the positive. So New Earth, you could say, would be more peaceful. There's like, it's more loving. There's less limitations to your thinking. So you can manifest a lot faster, manifest the things you want, rather than the old earth, the negative game where you are manifesting the whole time, but you're manifesting what you don't want. So yeah, the old earth can contain kind of more wars, more frustration, more anger, more suffering, more separation consciousness, more blaming everyone. But with New Earth, there's more telepathy. So it would be tuning into people that are on your frequency. So that's kind of like what I do when I'm channeling, is we're kind of doing it. I'll channel other beings or higher realms, and I'm just channeling, I'm just tuning into their energy through. It's like kind of like telepathy. It's just getting on the same frequency as them. So also I am still doing a few one-on-ones if you guys want to join me for a soul session or learn how to channel. So just check out my website. But we're going to be doing a lot more telekinesis, and we can start to feel the frequency and vibrations of things so much more, like even feeling the consciousness of trees, which can be a challenge because when you're tuning into more vibrational frequencies, it can be really overwhelming. You can feel like you're just sensing everything, feeling everything. When you are raising your frequency, you're just tuning into every aspect. And when you do raise your frequency, you start to see a lot of the negative as well, because when you are bringing more light in, you're seeing the polar opposite. So you're seeing the law of polarity. And because we have gone so deep into this dense energy, we're seeing real extremes now. We're seeing the real light, love, like the healing technology, what the body can do, the downloads of information we can receive. And we're seeing the real negative of the destruction and the wars and the fear, survival. So we're seeing it all now. So a really good space to be in is to be in a neutral space. So be in between the light and the dark, because sometimes people would say it's a spiritual bypass just to just to not even look at the dark. The dark is there, it is part of you, but we don't need to get angry at it or fearful at it or frustrated at it. And of course you can do that. I'm not saying don't tune into your emotions, because our emotions are our superpowers. But how long do you want to dip into the negative? You can observe the darkness, but you start to become it. You start to become the darkness when you start to get angry. Continue with your anger, continue with your worry, your fear, your sadness, your frustration. We can play that game, yes, but we can also step out of it. We can choose. This is a choose your own adventure. So both paths serve a divine purpose. So there's nothing wrong with choosing which one you want. And of course, we're going to dip into both. We are at the moment in this frequency of dipping into, or many frequencies. So it's not just new earth, old earth. There are many earths, so many earths. We can't even count them. It's infinite earths, but we're just saying we're focusing on two at the moment because it's just easier to kind of explain two rather than 2 trillion. So basically every one of us is in our own field, our own holographic dreamscape, our own matrixes grid line. So we can totally choose what we want to dip into. So it's going to get easier to dip into the light, and it's going to get easier to dip into the darkness. So we get to choose now. We get to choose which one we want to dip into. And definitely I feel like all the darkness needs to come out to be seen, because if we're not seeing it, it's just going to keep continuing and just keep going. We're just going to be stuck in a loop and go round and round in a circle. So I feel like we are here to experience the darkness and to remember that we are the light. We are it all. We're not just the light. We are the dark, and we don't need to feel guilty about it or worried about it, because as source energy, we're just seeing all that we can be. We're experiencing all that is, which is so valuable and so important. So you don't need your family to agree with you. You don't need anyone to love you or approve of you. Stop looking on the outside, looking in the outside world for approval, for affection, for love. You don't need it. It's all within you. You are born from unconditional love, the love of the universe, the love of source. So how do we shift? How do we shift? So we let go of judgment of ourselves, let go of judgment of others. So that's a big one, because we've been taught to judge ourselves. We've been taught that we're not good enough, that we don't look good enough, that we need to do all these things to make ourselves look better, or try harder, or we need to win, or we need to set our goals, or we need to earn heaps of money. The pressure that we've been under is just, we're at this tipping point. We're at the boiling point where the kind of explosion's happening. And that's where the solar flares, also the big solar flash, that is the tipping point, the big burst of where we're no longer wanting to be stuck in the darkness, and we're wanting to shine our light again. So to shift to new earth, we can take a look at our belief systems. Do they align with our higher purpose? Are our belief systems supporting us? If not, can we just kind of maybe tune in and change our belief systems, or just be in a neutral state where we just observe all beliefs, and we don't put pressure on ourselves to participate. Follow your passions, your interests, your joy. That's always a good one, isn't it? Not to place, New Earth is not a place. It's a state of being. I said before, it's a state of mind, but it's also a state of being. It's a state of knowing. It's knowing who you are at the greater level. You're creating your own reality. So you have your reality bubble, your construct that you are constructing. It's your story. You've got all these story layers, so many layers. The guides have been showing me that so much. There's the auric field, the energy field, and then there's the story layers of who you think you are, but you're not all of those story layers. So if you don't want one of those stories, just get rid of the story. What story are you telling when you wake up in the morning? What are you telling yourself, or what are you telling everyone else? So it's your choice. You can choose. So when you're in that quantum landscape, you just can be whoever you want to be. You don't even need to quantum leap. You just become that person. You're already that person. To leap, even to say quantum leap, means you're leaping into somewhere else, but you don't even have to go anywhere else. It's just that shift in frequency. It's all here right now. So we have access to higher realms. So New Earth is going to just bring in so much more access. So yeah, like I said, if you want to join me for some channeling sessions, I'm also doing a new course with activation. So I'll be activating you guys if you want. You don't have to, but my higher guides are going to be activating, just bringing more like it's kind of like a link, like a frequency, just that connection to the higher realms. If you want more of your intuition, your knowing, channeling skills, whatever you want. If you want more from the higher realms, from the galactics, then yeah, I'm creating a course. So I have an email list. So if you want to sign up for emails to see when that's coming up, so yeah, just join. And also I have Patreon membership, so I do a lot more bonus content on Patreon. But yeah, we're definitely doing really well. I know it doesn't seem like it because it seems like complete total chaos out there. There is, yeah, it really does. But that's because we have totally raised our frequency. So you might be like, when you're raising your frequency and tuning into what some people are calling the new earth, you can have a lot of symptoms as well. So don't be too hard on yourself. Try to be a bit kinder to yourself. So we are coming up with, like, it's a whole biological upgrade, a whole DNA upgrade, a whole crystalline energy upgrade. So some people are feeling really lost because they're not connected to old earth anymore, and they don't feel like they're connected to new earth. There's like feelings of depression, aching, vertigo, nausea. Sometimes you feel like you want to change your diet, like nothing, or you don't know what to eat anymore because you're hearing everything's full of chemicals and everything's bad and even the good stuff's bad, and it's so confusing. And then you get memory loss because sometimes you're overwhelmed, but then there's also reasons of you unplugging from the old matrix grids and realigning with the universal grid. When you're realigning with the universal grid, you can lose your memory because you're not remembering anymore. You don't have a memory. You don't need a memory because your higher self can send you all of the information. You don't need to store it. You don't store all of the information. You just tune in. It's like the universal Google. It's just huge. All the information you have from the universe, it's within your DNA already. So you don't need to remember stuff. So we're going through this transition of losing our memory, which, can be a bit stressful and scary sometimes, but don't worry, just laugh it off. You may need to ground yourself and take a break as well. Obviously, if you're feeling overwhelmed and stressed and you're working too hard, make sure you find that balance as well. But people can feel really frustrated and low at the moment because there's so much going on. You can feel really annoyed at the news or really annoyed at negative people. A lot of people can trigger you at the moment, and that's because you are awakening, and the things that you used to put up with, you no longer want to put up with, and that is fine. But like I said, it's finding that balance and trying to release it, because if we keep shoving all our emotions down, if we're pushing the anger down, pushing the sadness down, the frustration, the worry, then that's when we end up getting sick or unwell, or we just injure ourselves, or we just shut down and get even more depressed. So but then we'll be seeing a lot more of good stuff, like seeing seeing auras around people and orbs, and feeling a blissful state. But then we can get ringing in our ears because we're tuning into universal energy, which I find the ringing in the ears really fun, because then I know that there's information coming in. But a lot of stuff will feel really fake. Things just don't feel real anymore, and you get lost in who am I? Where am I? I don't want to be here anymore. What is this place? So just look after yourselves and know that you are not alone. Okay, you're not alone. And if you want a bit extra, just join me on Patreon, or I'll have the details below. So Patreon memberships, and then I do the soul sessions still. I'm not sure, I'm getting pretty busy, so I'm not sure how many soul sessions I'll be doing, but I will be doing some more, putting up some more courses on my website. So thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for coffee and crystals. So I will be sending light code activations your way, and my higher guides will be as well. So if you want the light code activations, just say yes. And then I will be doing more activations as well. And I have crystal Reiki and things as well on my Patreon, and some stuff on my website. So yeah. Okay. Love you guys. You're the best. Sending good vibes your way. I'm Jozee from Lily Leaf 11 in New Zealand. I will see you guys soon. Bye for now.